All right, how you doing? I'm Dylan Black. I know I look kind of different today. You may notice I got a bit of a haircut. So quickly, just to address the elephant in the room here, I buzzed my head to fight breast cancer. Over the past month, I had a campaign going on called Buzz for Boobs, raised over $3,600. And last night at Centerpoint Fabulous Cuts, Rahil buzzed my head. This is the shortest it's ever been in my life. Feels awkward. Hope it doesn't look awkward. Busy show here today at Rogers TV, Daytime Ottawa, rolling into a weekend. Right now, let's say hello to Carol Kelly, who is the owner of Bellwethers Vintage. How are you?
Hi, Dylan. How are you?
I'm great. Good to see you on the show here today. And you brought some friends with you as well.
Yeah,
which is a lot of fun.
Bought Beatrice and a few Twiggy heads.
Twiggy heads.
Yeah.
That's nice.
From the 60s.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about what vintage is. And as well, we've got to the Ottawa Vintage Clothing Show happening Sunday, November 12th. First, tell us about Bellwethers Vintage.
Bellwethers Vintage, as I'm actually co-owner with my daughter. We opened in June, and we started back in, my daughter started in Toronto with pop-ups. Pop-ups are a fantastic way to start a vintage business because you can grow your business, you grow your online presence, and you build up clientele, and you get a feel for what people are looking for in vintage. So we started doing that. So
you opened your own physical location just a few months ago.
Yeah, June the 3rd.
It's got to feel pretty good.
It's really amazing.
Yeah.
I love our store. And we're a good partnership, me and my daughter.
Good.
Bring different elements.
That's fun. That sounds like a lot of fun.
It's fun.
What exactly is vintage to you?
Well, vintage is to me, it's between 20 and 80 years. Clothing and accessories and housewares that are between that age period. And I don't know, there's something really great about vintage. It's a piece of history. It's something someone's taken care of and someone's loved, and then it's passed on to somebody else. It's recycled. It's not fast fashion, and it makes a statement. There's so much diversity in vintage, and it makes a statement every time you wear a piece of vintage clothing. You make a statement.
Okay. You brought, I mentioned some stuff with you. Now, who did you say this model was? Her name?
Her name is Beatrice.
Okay.
My husband wouldn't let me name my daughter Beatrice, so I named the model Beatrice.
So Beatrice has been around for quite some time. Is she vintage herself?
She is definitely vintage.
All right.
I would say she's from the 60s.
Can you tell us about some of the wardrobe that she has?
Well, she has a pair of late 60s, early 70s palazzo pants. They're like a wool pleated pant, and that's her statement piece.
Okay.
And what you can do with vintage is you can mix different eras. So the coat is like a suede, like bomber type jacket, and that is a fall jacket, and that's more from the probably 80s, maybe 90s. Okay. And then she's got a chunky piece of 60s costume jewelry.
Okay.
And we just paired it with a nice, simple, modern turtleneck.
Yeah.
And together, she looks pretty fantastic, don't you think?
She looks, Beatrice is one fine-looking individual.
She's
There's no
pretty
doubt
awesome.
about it.
And those are 60s glass.
I love the glasses.
Sunglasses.
Those are very good. I know my mom was always.
Look good on you.
Well, we don't have time to put those on. I have enough awkward stuff happening with all this today. So, do you find that Ottawa has been very accepting to you opening up a physical location?
Ottawa it's like this medium-sized city with a great heart, and there's so much excitement for vintage, and it's growing. Vintage is growing in Ottawa. There was a long time where vintage, there was only a few stores, but there's more stores opening, and we hope as a business that more vintage brick and mortar stores open, so that we can create more of a vintage hub in Ottawa.
A bit more of a community for vintage. Okay, so when do you incorporate new stuff with vintage? What's the best way to, because you were mentioning, I think, that her turtleneck is new?
Yeah, her turtleneck is I don't know, it's like 90s, 2000s, but it's a basic turtleneck.
So it's not super new.
It could be, you know what, it's a basic piece. Like this what I'm wearing is from last year.
Okay.
So any kind of a turtleneck always looks great in fall or winter with something that's fun and flashy, because it sort of tones things down a bit so you don't look crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, like those pants are like wild.
They are wild.
If you mix them with the right pieces, they just look really awesome.
Is it okay almost when you're dressing vintage to clash a bit?
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
well, you know, I guess it depends what you think clash. If you
To be funky,
clashing
to
is
look a bit funky?
funky, mixing patterns together, as long as there's some sort of a common thread between them, looks awesome. It's like if you can pull off an outfit like that, then you just
Okay.
look really super confident.
Okay, interesting. Now we're going to go to your other friends here. They don't have bodies, that's
Oh,
okay, but
yeah.
they're sporting some very cool hats. So tell us
Yeah.
about some of these vintage hats that you have here.
Okay, well, this is a pink leather 60s cap, and this is like a 60s faux fur and leather, just a winter hat, pom-pom type hat. And this is a Burberry like hunter's cap.
That's great. They all look very happy to be wearing those vintage hats as
They're
well.
always happy.
What about the coats or the coats and dresses as well that you have on the rack here?
Well, I brought some of the examples of the things that we're going to have at the vintage show. So because the Christmas is coming up and that, so we have a lot of, we're going to have a lot of really beautiful sparkly vintage
That's
stuff.
nice.
This is a 60s sparkly shift type dress. This is a New Year's Eve 70s disco dress,
That's
and it's
fancy.
really heavy. It's got a lot of beading on it. This you could wear to a really fancy party, or you could just wear some tights with it and a jacket and wear it to work.
Okay.
It's a really fun 60s drop waist.
Okay.
This is a 90s, just super fun pattern. You could wear it with a jacket. You could do lots of things. You could belt it.
Amazing. We only have about 30 seconds left, so I
Okay.
just want to know, so you're going to be set up at the vintage
We're going to be at the vintage show.
show
Yeah,
Sunday, November 12th.
yeah, between 10 and 5.
Okay. And where can we find your physical location?
We're at 9 Florence Street at Bank
Okay.
in Centertown, Ottawa.
Simple as that. Bellwethers Vintage.
Bellwethers Vintage.
Thank you very much for being
Thank
here
you.
today. And best of luck at
And
the
I like
vintage
your
show.
hair.
Do you?
It looks really
Okay,
good.
good. There's compliment
Handsome.
number 1 today. I appreciate it. Details on the Ottawa Pet Expo next. We also have live ferrets on the show. Don't go anywhere.